Let's talk about something that's tempting for a lot of people in relationships going through a man's phone. You might feel that little voice in your head telling you to check, just a quick peek, just to be sure. Maybe you've noticed a change in his behavior. Maybe insecurity is creeping in, or maybe someone planted the idea that if you don't check, you might be missing something. But let me tell you, this is one of the worst things you can do in a relationship. And today I'm going to give you 5 shocking reasons why you should not go through a man's phone. Trust is the foundation of any healthy relationship. Without it, the connection between two people becomes fragile and full of uncertainty. When you feel the urge to check a man's phone, it is not just about curiosity or seeking reassurance, it reveals a deeper issue within the relationship. Trust cannot thrive when one person constantly feels the need to monitor the other's actions. It creates a dynamic where one person is always on guard, feeling the pressure of being watched, while the other is in a state of constant doubt. Instead of building a partnership based on mutual respect and open communication, this kind of behavior fuels insecurity and damages the emotional bond between two people. A strong relationship requires both individuals to feel secure in each other's intentions and actions without the need for constant surveillance. When trust is present, both partners feel at ease knowing that honesty and integrity guide their connection. A major reason people feel the need to go through their partner's phone is fear of betrayal, dishonesty, or hidden actions. However, true trust cannot exist if fear controls your decisions. Constantly checking a phone to uncover possible secrets suggests that the foundationship is already shaky. If a person feels uneasy about their partner's actions, the solution is not to spy but to communicate openly. A conversation about concerns, feelings, and expectations is far more productive than searching through messages and calls. When trust is broken, no amount of snooping will restore it. Instead, it only creates a cycle of doubt, anxiety, and emotional exhaustion. If a relationship lacks trust, no amount of reassurance from a phone search will ever be enough because the real issue is the insecurity and fear within the dynamic. Trust is something that should be given freely, but also earned over time. If you are in a relationship where you feel the need to constantly verify whether your partner is being truthful, then the real question is whether the relationship is right for you. Love should feel safe and secure, not filled with doubt and suspicion. When two people trust each other fully, they do not feel the need to question each other's actions constantly. They know that their partner is committed to them and respects the relationship enough to be honest. This level of confidence in one another creates a strong emotional connection that cannot be shaken by external factors. The healthiest relationships are built on the understanding that trust should not have to be proven daily, it should already exist as the foundation of love and commitment. The act of going through a partner's phone does not solve any problems, instead, it creates new ones. If there is a genuine reason for concern, the best approach is to address it directly rather than secretly investigating. A strong relationship is one where both individuals feel comfortable being honest with each other, not one where fear and insecurity drive them to invade each other's privacy. It is important to recognize that trust is a choice, and if trust has been broken, the solution lies in healing the relationship through open communication, not through constant monitoring. Privacy is an essential part of any healthy relationship. Every individual, no matter how close they are to their partner, deserves a level of personal space. When someone decides to go through their partner's phone, they are crossing a boundary that should be respected in any relationship. Relationships require trust, and without it, even the strongest connections can crumble. The need to search through a partner's messages, called logs, or social media activities suggests a lack of faith in their honesty. When a person invades their partner's privacy, it creates an environment of secrecy and defensiveness rather than one of openness and trust. A partner should feel safe in their relationship, knowing that their personal space is valued. When boundaries are ignored, resentment begins to grow, making it difficult for love to flourish in a healthy and respectful way. Many people justify looking through a partner's phone by claiming they are searching for the truth. However, the truth in a relationship is not found in text messages or call logs, it is found in communication. If there is a concern about dishonesty or infidelity, the most productive way to address it is through a heartfelt conversation. Confronting a partner based on something found on their phone often leads to misunderstandings because messages can be taken out of context. A conversation between friends, a work-related discussion, or even an old chat with a family member can easily be misinterpreted. Instead of solving a problem, snooping through a phone can create unnecessary drama and tension that may not have existed otherwise. The healthiest way to approach concerns in a relationship is by expressing feelings openly rather than secretly searching for evidence. Insecurity plays a significant role in the desire to check a partner's phone. If someone feels anxious or uncertain about their relationship, they may believe that searching through messages will provide reassurance. However, insecurity is not something that can be resolved by reading through a phone. It is an internal struggle that must be addressed on a deeper level. Trusting a partner means believing in their loyalty without needing constant proof. Insecurities in a relationship should be acknowledged and worked through together rather than allowing them to push a person into behavior that damages the relationship. A confident partner does not feel the need to invade their significant other's privacy because they understand that a strong connection is built on trust, not control. Respecting personal boundaries is a sign of emotional maturity and security in a relationship. Everyone has the right to their own thoughts, conversations, and interactions, even within a committed partnership. A healthy relationship is built on mutual respect where both partners feel free to be themselves without fear of being constantly monitored. If a person feels the need to check their partner's phone, it may indicate a deeper issue that needs to be addressed. Instead of searching for reassurance through snooping, a person should seek clarity through open dialogue and emotional honesty. Love should feel safe, trusting, and secure, not like a constant investigation into each other's lives. Checking a partner's phone can create unnecessary anxiety and lead to emotional distress. When someone snoops through their partner's phone, they may find things that are misinterpreted or taken out of context. A harmless conversation with a coworker, an old message from an ex, or a joke between friends can easily be misunderstood. This can lead to arguments and doubts that were never an issue to begin with. Instead of feeling reassured, the person snooping may end up feeling more insecure, questioning every message or interaction they find. This cycle of doubt and overanalysis can cause exhaustion and strain on the relationship. When a person allows themselves to be consumed by suspicion, it prevents them from fully enjoying their relationship and creates a constant state of worry. A major problem with going through a partner's phone is that it shifts the focus from trust to control. Instead of addressing issues directly, a person resorts to secretive behavior in an attempt to uncover the truth. This not only damages the trust in the relationship, but also creates a toxic dynamic where one person feels they have the right to monitor the other. In a healthy relationship, both partners should feel respected and free to have their own personal space. When trust is replaced by the need to spy, the relationship starts to feel more like a surveillance operation rather than a loving connection. Over time, this behavior can push a partner away, making them feel suffocated and distrusted, which can lead to emotional withdrawal or even the end of the relationship. Going through a partner's phone can also backfire, causing the person being spied on to feel violated and defensive. If someone finds out that their partner has been secretly checking their messages, they may feel hurt, angry, or betrayed. No one wants to feel like they are being constantly watched or that their privacy is not respected. This can lead to resentment, making it harder to maintain open and honest communication. A relationship should be a safe space where both partners feel comfortable being themselves without fear of being judged or constantly scrutinized. When privacy is invaded, it creates an emotional barrier that makes it difficult for both partners to feel truly connected. The act of snooping itself reflects a deeper issue within the relationship or within the individual doing it. If a person feels the need to check their partner's phone, it may indicate unresolved trust issues, personal insecurities, or past experiences that have made them fearful of being hurt. Instead of looking for reassurance through a phone, it's important to address these concerns through honest and open conversations. Trust is built through communication, understanding, and shared experiences, not by secretly searching for information. A strong and healthy relationship thrives when both partners feel secure and valued. Instead of focusing on what might be hidden, it's more beneficial to focus on strengthening the connection, fostering trust, and ensuring that both individuals feel respected and emotionally fulfilled in the relationship. Snooping through a man's phone can create a false sense of control, leading to even greater insecurity. Many people believe that if they check their partner's messages, call logs, or social media activity, they will uncover the truth about their relationship. However, this habit often leads to more anxiety and confusion rather than peace of mind. A person may find a message that appears suspicious, but without the full context, they start assuming the worst. They begin overanalyzing every interaction, questioning the meaning behind innocence and jumping to conclusions. Instead of feeling reassured, They spiral into doubt, which fuels even more insecurity. The constant need to check a partner's phone becomes addictive as the person seeks validation that nothing is wrong. However, this behavior never truly satisfies their concerns. Instead, it reinforces their fears, making them feel even more powerless over their relationship. Another significant issue with checking a man's phone is that it can lead to a breakdown in communication. When someone chooses to snoop rather than express their concerns openly, they avoid addressing the real issues at hand. Instead of having honest conversations about trust and expectations, they rely on secret investigations to find answers. This lack of communication weakens the foundation of the relationship, creating distance between partners. The person who is snooping may feel justified in their actions, but in reality, they are avoiding the discomfort of a direct conversation. This avoidance prevents growth in the relationship because it does not allow both partners to address insecurities, set boundaries, and build mutual trust. A strong relationship requires open dialogue where both individuals feel safe to express their thoughts and concerns without fear of judgment or retaliation. When a person decides to go through their partner's phone, they risk violating an essential principle of any healthy relationship: respect for personal boundaries. Everyone is entitled to privacy, even in a committed relationship. Trust does not mean having unrestricted access to each other's personal devices. It means believing that your partner is honest and faithful without needing to check. When one person invades another's privacy, it sends a message that trust is not present, which can cause resentment. The person being spied on may feel disrespected and unappreciated, leading to emotional withdrawal. They may become more secretive, not because they are hiding anything, but because they feel the need to protect their personal space. This dynamic creates an unhealthy cycle where both partners feel disconnected, making it harder to maintain a deep emotional bond. The act of checking a partner's phone can also create a power imbalance in the relationship. When one person feels the need to monitor the other, it establishes a dynamic where control takes precedence over mutual respect. A relationship should be built on equality where both partners feel valued and heard. If one person assumes the role of investigator while the other feels like they are constantly under surveillance, the connection becomes strained. Instead of feeling like a team, the relationship starts to feel like an interrogation where one person is always on the defensive. This imbalance creates unnecessary tension, leading to frequent arguments, frustration, and emotional exhaustion. A truly fulfilling relationship is one where both individuals are secure, trusted, and free to be themselves. Going through a man's phone may lead to unintended consequences that damage the relationship beyond repair. Many people justify snooping by believing they have the right to know everything about their partner's life, but they often fail to consider the potential fallout of their actions. Discovering something unexpected, whether significant or minor, can trigger emotions that are difficult to control. A simple message from a female coworker or an old friend can be misinterpreted, causing unnecessary conflict. The person snooping might react impulsively, confronting their partner with accusations before understanding the full context. This can lead to heated arguments, defensiveness, and an overall sense of betrayal, not because of what was found, but because of how it was handled. Even if nothing suspicious is discovered, the act of invading privacy leaves a lingering sense of guilt and distrust. The relationship dynamic shifts, making it difficult to return to the previous level of comfort and security. When trust is broken in a relationship, it is extremely difficult to rebuild. Checking a partner's phone without their knowledge or consent sends the message that they are not trusted, even if they have done nothing wrong. Trust is the foundation of any healthy relationship, and once it is compromised, it can create long-term emotional damage. The person who was snooped on may feel hurt, angry, and disrespected, leading them to pull away emotionally. They may begin to question whether they can be truly open with their partner or if every action will be scrutinized. This emotional distance can eventually lead to resentment, as the person feels they are constantly being doubted, even when they have been honest and faithful. Instead of bringing a couple closer together, this kind of behavior pushes them apart, making it more challenging to maintain a strong connection. Another problem with checking a partner's phone is that it sets a negative precedent in the relationship. Once a person engages in snooping, it becomes easier to justify doing it again in the future. It creates an unhealthy cycle where trust is continually questioned, leading to a pattern of surveillance rather than security. This behavior can escalate, with the person feeling the need to check social media accounts, emails, and other private aspects of their partner's life. The more they search, the more they convince themselves that something must be hidden. Over time, this mindset creates a toxic environment where both partners feel uneasy. One person feels the need to hide even harmless interactions, while the other is constantly searching for signs of dishonesty. This cycle prevents the relationship from growing in a healthy and natural way. A relationship built on trust allows both partners to feel safe, valued, and respected. When that trust is replaced by suspicion, it creates an environment of fear and doubt. The person being spied on may start to feel suffocated, leading them to withdraw or even reconsider the relationship entirely. Instead of fostering a strong and loving connection, constantly checking a partner's phone introduces negativity that can be difficult to overcome. The key to a lasting relationship is open communication, respect for boundaries, and a mutual understanding that privacy is not a threat, but a necessary part of any healthy partnership. Snooping through a man's phone can backfire in ways that many do not anticipate. People often assume that checking their partner's messages will give them peace of mind, but in reality, it tends to create more stress and insecurity. When someone secretly looks through a phone, they are usually searching for confirmation of their doubts rather than genuinely seeking the truth. This mindset already puts them in a negative space, making it more likely that they will interpret even harmless messages as suspicious. A simple text from a colleague or an old friend can suddenly seem like evidence of dishonesty, leading to emotional turmoil that may not even be warranted. Instead of getting reassurance, the person snooping often ends up feeling worse, either because they misinterpret what they find or because they feel guilty for violating their partner's trust. This emotional roller coaster can create unnecessary tension in the relationship, making it harder to maintain a healthy and loving connection. One of the biggest problems with checking a partner's phone is that it does not actually resolve trust issues. If someone feels the need to invade their partner's privacy, it usually means there are deeper concerns that need to be addressed. Maybe they have been hurt in the past, or perhaps there are unresolved issues within the relationship itself. Whatever the case, going through someone's phone is a temporary action that does not provide a real solution. If something questionable is found, it may lead to a confrontation, but even if nothing suspicious appears, the doubts do not automatically go away. The lack of evidence does not guarantee that there is no dishonesty. It only means that nothing was found in that moment. This creates a dangerous cycle where the person checking the phone may feel the need to do it repeatedly, constantly seeking validation for their concerns. Instead of addressing the root of the issue, this behavior only adds more anxiety and insecurity, making it nearly impossible to build a truly trusting relationship. Another major issue with phone snooping is that it sets a precedent for secrecy and defensiveness. If a man discovers that his phone has been checked without his permission, he may start to feel like he cannot be open in the relationship. Even if he has done nothing wrong, the violation of his privacy can make him feel attacked and misunderstood. This can lead to him becoming more guarded, avoiding certain conversations, or even hiding harmless details just to prevent unnecessary conflict. The irony is that the act of snooping meant to create transparency can actually push a man to become more secretive. When a person feels that their every move is being watched, they naturally start to protect their space, which can create even more distance in the relationship. This is the opposite of what a healthy partner should be. Relationships thrive on openness, but openness must come from a place of mutual trust, not from a fear of being constantly monitored. Communication is the real key to overcoming insecurity in a relationship. Instead of resorting to spying, it is much healthier to have honest conversations about concerns and expectations. When both partners feel safe expressing their feelings, there is less need for suspicion. A relationship should be a place of security, not a battleground where each person feels the need to constantly prove themselves. Checking a man's phone can create unnecessary misunderstandings that damage the relationship. Often, people assume that seeing a text message or call history will provide clarity, but without full context, it is easy to misinterpret what they find. A simple message from a coworker, an old friend, or even a family member can be taken out of context, leading to accusations that are not based on reality. When emotions are already heightened, even the most innocent conversations can seem suspicious. This can cause unnecessary stress and arguments, making both partners feel more disconnected. Instead of bringing clarity, snooping often leads to assumptions and conclusions that may not even be true. The person checking the phone may believe they have uncovered something incriminating, but without knowing the full story, they could be reacting to something completely innocent. This misunderstanding creates tension and can push a man away, making him feel as though he is constantly being judged or accused of something he did not do. Another major problem with going through a man's phone is that it signals a lack of trust. Trust is the foundation of any strong relationship. And when one partner feels the need to secretly check the other's messages, it indicates that trust is already broken or fragile. A relationship cannot thrive when one person is constantly looking for proof of wrongdoing. Instead of feeling secure, the person snooping often becomes more anxious because they are focusing on their fears rather than working to strengthen the relationship. If trust is already damaged, checking a phone will not fix it, it will only make things worse. A man who realizes his partner does not trust him may start to feel resentful, frustrated, or even defensive. Even if he has done nothing wrong, the constant feeling of being watched or questioned can create distance. He may begin to withdraw emotionally, not because he is hiding something, but because he feels like he is not being given the benefit of the doubt. This emotional distance can slowly break down the connection, leading to even more doubts and insecurity. Snooping through a man's phone can also create a toxic cycle within the relationship. If a woman finds something she considers questionable, she may react with anger or suspicion, which can lead to an argument. Even if nothing was actually inappropriate, the act of snooping itself can create a rift. Over time, this behavior can become a habit where the need to check the phone turns into a repeated action. Each time the phone is checked, the person doing it may feel momentary relief if they do not find anything incriminating, but that relief is temporary. The insecurity remains and the cycle continues. This pattern can be exhausting for both partners, draining the relationship of joy and making it feel more like an interrogation than a loving partnership. Instead of fostering connection, it creates a tense environment where both people feel on edge. The reality is that true peace in a relationship does not come from constantly checking up on a partner, it comes from open communication and genuine trust. Going through a man's phone not only invades his privacy, but also sets a dangerous precedent for the relationship. In any healthy partnership, both individuals should feel they have personal space and autonomy. Constantly monitoring a partner's messages, calls, and social media activities suggests a belief that the relationship cannot function without surveillance. This lack of respect for privacy can lead to deeper issues, as the person whose phone is being checked may feel controlled or micromanaged. No one wants to feel as though they are being watched at all times, especially by the person they are supposed to trust the most. When privacy is violated, resentment starts to build. A man who realizes that his partner has been secretly going through his phone may feel disrespected, even if he has nothing to hide. He may start to guard his phone more, not necessarily because he is doing something wrong, but because he no longer feels comfortable knowing his personal space is being invaded. A relationship should build on mutual respect, and respect includes allowing each person to have their own space without fear of intrusion. If a woman feels the need to check a man's phone, it might indicate that there are deeper insecurities that need to be addressed. Rather than focusing on his actions, it is important to reflect on where this need for control is coming from. Is it based on past experiences with betrayal? Is it coming from a fear of being hurt? These feelings are valid, but they should be dealt with through open conversations and personal growth rather than through snooping. In reality, checking a phone does not bring peace, it only fuels more insecurity. Even if nothing questionable is found, the habit of looking through a partner's phone creates a cycle of doubt. Over time, this behavior can cause the person doing the checking to become more anxious, always wondering if they missed something. It does not strengthen the relationship. Instead, it weakens it by shifting the focus from trust to suspicion. When trust is compromised, so is emotional intimacy. A man who feels that his partner does not trust him may start to withdraw. Even if he was fully invested in the relationship before, constant suspicion can make him feel disconnected. No one wants to be in a relationship where they are always on trial. Instead of growing closer, both partners end up creating distance, which can eventually lead to the breakdown of the relationship. Trust must be nurtured through honesty, security, and faith in one another, not through constantly checking up on a partner's every move. Checking a man's phone can damage the relationship by creating unnecessary tension and eroding trust. When someone secretly looks through their partner's messages, they are often seeking reassurance or validation of their suspicions. However, even if nothing suspicious is found, the act itself introduces a layer of secrecy and guilt into the relationship. A woman who feels compelled to check her partner's phone may start justifying her actions by convincing herself that she has the right to know everything. But in reality, this behavior is often driven by fear rather than a genuine need for information. Fear of betrayal, Fear of being lied to or fear of past wounds repeating themselves can create a cycle where she feels the need to constantly monitor her partner's actions. Over time, this need for reassurance becomes an unhealthy habit that does not lead to peace, but rather to more doubt and insecurity. A man who realizes his partner has been checking his phone may feel hurt, not necessarily because he has something to hide, but because it signals a lack of trust. No one wants to feel like they are constantly being watched or suspected of wrongdoing. Even in a committed relationship, every individual has a right to personal space. Messages with friends, conversations with colleagues, or even social media interactions are personal, and just because two people are in a relationship does not mean they should lose their sense of individuality. When one partner invades that space, it sends a message that they do not trust the other person to be honest on their own. This lack of trust creates a rift, making it harder for both partners to feel secure in the relationship. Moreover, going through a partner's phone can create unnecessary misunderstandings. Text messages and social media interactions are often taken out of context. A simple conversation with a coworker or an inside joke with a friend can easily be misinterpreted, leading to accusations and arguments that could have been avoided. Once a person starts looking for something suspicious, they are likely to find something, even if it is innocent, that makes them question their partner's intentions. This not only fuels more insecurity, but also pushes the relationship into a space where paranoia replaces trust. Instead of bringing clarity, checking a phone often leads to more confusion and emotional distress. If concerns exist, the best way to address them is through open communication rather than resorting to secretive and damaging behavior. Constantly checking a man's phone can become an addiction, leading to an unhealthy cycle of insecurity and control. When someone feels the need to repeatedly monitor their partner's digital interactions, they are not only invading privacy, but also reinforcing their own fears. This habit is rarely a one-time event. Once a woman checks her partner's phone and finds nothing suspicious, she may feel relieved for the moment, but the anxiety does not disappear. Instead, she convinces herself that she needs to check again just to be sure. This creates an ongoing cycle where trust is never fully established and peace of mind is never achieved. The more she checks, the more she becomes dependent on external validation rather than inner security. Over time, this pattern of behavior affects not just her emotional well-being, but also the overall health of relationship. When one partner is always in a state of doubt, the energy in the relationship shifts from love and connection to suspicion and control. The man, even if he has been completely honest, will begin to feel like he is walking on eggshells, constantly under scrutiny. This pressure can lead to resentment, as no one wants to feel like they have to prove their innocence repeatedly. Instead of fostering a safe and trusting bond, the relationship becomes a space where both partners feel unsettled, one in constant worry about being deceived, and the other feeling like they have lost their personal freedom. Another damaging effect of this behavior is that it takes the focus away from genuine emotional connection. A strong relationship is built on communication, respect, and mutual understanding. When too much emphasis is placed on monitoring a partner's actions, the emotional bond begins to weaken. Instead of deepening the connection through meaningful conversations and shared experiences, energy is wasted on suspicion and control. A woman who finds herself repeatedly drawn to checking her partner's phone should take a step back and ask herself what she is truly looking for. If she is seeking reassurance, the healthier approach is to address her concerns directly with her partner rather than relying on secret investigations. True security in a relationship comes from open dialogue, emotional transparency, and personal self-confidence. When trust is cultivated in a natural way, there is no need for constant validation through surveillance. Learning to let go of the urge to control a partner's every move allows both individuals to experience a deeper sense of peace and connection. Ladies, I know it's tempting. I know sometimes you just want to be sure, but checking his phone won't give you peace. It will only create more problems. Trust is a choice. And if you can't trust him, then that's the real issue that needs to be addressed. So instead of sneaking around, have the hard conversations, set your standards, and make sure you're in a relationship where you never feel the need to check in the first place. Because the right man, the one who truly values you, will never make you question where you stand.